What's up, everybody? Hey, David. Guys, it's like monsooning outside behind me right now. Monsooning.
Someone's calling you.
You have to go find my phone, figure out what that's about because he might be outside. What's up, Linda? Look what we got. From Miss Linda.
Thank you so much.
We got a Camaro White Book from Linda and Anthony. It just came in the mail.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, let's get there.
We haven't taken it out of the plastic yet to look at it, but
Yeah,
we wanted to say thank you. Very interesting.
no, but it's pouring out. No problema.
Everything okay?
Alrighty. What?
Our neighbor was calling. I'm going to make sure he's okay.
So he's doing a lot.
All right. So tonight's live is. Are they okay?
Yeah, just he has his windows are open.
His windows? Oh, okay. Oh, they're not home. They just bought a new Chevy and it's sitting outside. They're not home, so they wanted to know if the windows were up. So tonight's live is going to be about car show judging. And we are going to go over all the different kinds of car shows, all the different kinds of ways that car shows are judged, and just anything that I know about car shows that I can share with you guys so that you know about car shows. Sound good? We'll wait for some people's to come get signed in before we get going. Finally stopped pouring. Now it's just raining hard. Like literally I couldn't see my Jeep. It was raining so hard, y'all. All right. So obviously car season is now here and there's so many different baby, there's like a stack of car shows flyers. Grab them. They're in the tray, I think. Or near the tray, somewhere over there. There's tons and tons of car shows that you can put yourself in. This is this is just the ones that we thought we might be here and present to do. This is what was dropped into our cars when we weren't at them at the Mars Wrigley car show. So while we were not sitting near the car, well, we weren't sitting ever because we didn't take chairs, but while we were not near the cars, all of these flyers got dropped into our cars. Baby, where's that one? This isn't all of them because where's that one? That one that was like a book. Somebody has a flyer that's like a magazine. Yeah, this was like the most impressive car show flyer I have ever seen in my life, you guys. Like, look at this. This was a car show flyer for an upcoming car show. Super thick, 3 pages, color. And it's to benefit something called Life Camp. It's in Moreland Farm Hills, New Jersey. So some pretty interesting looking cars are at this, and the registration and everything for it has a basic registration that's normal, that's like $20, and then it had registration all the way up to $255. Crazy. But this looks like it's like a insane kind of a car show. You guys are welcome to look it up and take a peek at it. So this is one of those high-end car shows. So all kinds of different kinds of car show flyers. Here's another one. Oh, for those of you who can read upside down. These are the kinds of car shows that I like to do. This one's for a little boy that's got leukemia, and they're raising money for him. Here's another one. Here's another one. Tons and tons and tons of them. So anyways, these things, there's no end to these car shows. You can get online and type car show into the search engine, and it will bring up all kinds of car shows nearby you. And there'll be all kinds of them that will have, in a lot of cases, they'll list like here, this one has the registration on the back, and it lists all the classes that you can put your car in. So you know what you're up against right from the beginning. You can pre-register. Pre-registration is usually $5 to $10 cheaper if you pre-register than if you don't. But you know, if it rains, if you live in an area where the weather is like this, then you might end up putting yourself into a show that gets rained out. If it's rain or shine, you may not want to take your car to it. If it has a rain date, then you might not be available on the rain date, and then you're out the money. So it just depends on how you want to handle it. This one has a pre-registration on the bottom. You can also fill those registrations out and take them with you the day of, and pay the at the gate price and have everything all filled out and ready to go, and then just hand it to them when you get there. So you can use those all kinds of different ways. And nowadays, with all the electronics and the internet and stuff, you can do a lot of your pre-registration right online. Kind of cool. I remember when I first started doing this, I was so excited. I would collect all these little flyers in my car, decide which ones I wanted to do, get the club all set up to go to them, and fill out all the pre-registration forms, make copies of them, fill out all the pre-registration forms, and fill out my check, and lick the envelope, put a stamp on it, and send it off. And yeah, it was crazy. It was all like done by snail mail. Let's see who is in the house. Hi, Jan. Glad you made it. Oh yeah, the kitty was in the background. Every weekend, everywhere. I've even seen some car shows during the week. Let's see. Yes, please do watch the car shows for years. There are a lot of car shows around that are for classic cars only, which means no new cars are welcome. They're fun to go to, kind of take a peek at some of the old Camaros, but new Camaros are not allowed. So sad. So sad. So watch for those. You don't want to get your car all ready and then show up for one of those shows, and then you get to the gate and they're like, yeah, no, you can't come in. And it does exist. There's a lot of them out there. And there's a lot of them out there that will take your car and let you bring it in, but you'll never win. So if your main reason for taking the car out is you're super competitive and you want to win, know your shows before you go, because there are a lot of shows out there that newer cars never win the shows. They just don't ever win. So know your shows. Talk to people before the show. Go online and look and see who won the show last year, who won the show the year before that, who won the show. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't ever see any current year cars winning those shows, chances are you're not going to win it either. So just kind of keep an eye out for that. Um, and then it kind of gives you an idea of how much work to put into it as well. If it's a good charity, then go ahead and do it, obviously. But don't spend hours and hours and hours cleaning your car for it, because you know you're not going to win. There are a lot of the shows that have motorcycles in them, Jan. They usually have their own categories. So there's their own little section for them to be judged in. They're not usually judged with the cars. All right. We've got 14 people in here, guys, and one like. So hit your like button, and obviously uh, share the channel with your friends. I'm so bad at this. I don't know how this works, but do whatever you guys do electronically to spread the word about the cave and help us get our channel spread around so that other Camaro people can have 4 likes, can get to hear about the Camaro Cave and the Girl Cave. Yay, Girl Cave. So that other people can learn about their Camaros and all of the different things that we do. All right. So let's talk about car shows. So there's a bunch of different kinds of car shows that you can go to. These were all different kinds of car shows, even just in that stack. You have meet and greets and cars and coffees. Meet and greets usually are in the evening. Cars and coffees are usually in the mornings, usually really, really early in the mornings. Really early in the mornings. But there's usually donuts. Donuts. So meet and greets and cars and coffees are usually free. They usually draw quite a few cars. They are usually quite a bit of fun. Good way to check out all of the different cars that are going to start showing up to car shows near you. And a great way to meet people that are like-minded and want to do the same sorts of things that you do. So good way to go meet people that show cars and like to work on the cars and do the same kind of stuff that you like to do. And you can hang out and drink coffee and eat donuts. They're usually put on by local car clubs, venues around the city that want to get you out, like tire companies, different places like that that want to bring you out and show off their name to people that would buy their stuff. So go to those, hang out, and visit with other people, share stories and tricks and cleaning tips and all kinds of stuff with those people, and get an idea of the people that you're going to be seeing in the car shows when you start pulling up to compete. Shows and shine and shows, whatever. Those are going to be, um, sometimes you have to pay to get into those, sometimes you don't. Those are usually going to be in parking lots somewhere where people want to generate business. So generally, they are free to the person putting their car there. They're usually like after work somewhere in a strip mall. Show and shines are usually to draw attention to those kinds of places We used to have them at Wendy's. We used to do them at Sonics. I don't know if there's very many Sonics around here, but we had them all over in the Midwest. And they do it to bring in attention. So they'd have a happy hour and then they'd bring in all these cars and it would bring in all kinds of people from the car world, which would generate business. And then, of course, everybody wants to come see why there's so many cars and so many people. So then those people would come in and that would generate business. And you can see where that snowballs. So another kind of meet and greet type of situation. Both of these situations, usually your car is not being judged and there usually are not awards being given out. The show and shines, sometimes there are. There's sometimes small awards or certificates or something given out by the location that is offering up the land. So if it's a restaurant, they might come out and give free meals to the car of their choice, or they might give a small trophy or a certificate to the car they pick or some crazy thing like that. So show and shines. So weekly, monthly car shows. These are kind of the same thing. However, they are usually involved with a car club and a location, and they are usually judged. So usually the car club will judge, or they'll get in contact with somebody at the location to judge. And these are usually like these. And um, they'll be at the same place every week or every month. So it might be the third Sunday every month or every Saturday for the summer or some kind of scheduled event like that. We had a really cool one in Kansas that the Hooters all did. So all of the Hooters would have car shows every Sunday that they did a car show / car wash. And the money was generated to help some kind of cause, and the cause changed every week. And the Hooters girls came out and the car show girls came out, and we would wash cars and then we would have a car show. And these car shows were pretty cool because you had a card. And every time you came into show each week, you got your card stamped or punched. And you couldn't win best of show at the end of the season if you didn't attend a certain number of shows and win at least a couple of them. So it was kind of a frequent flyer car show type situation. And it was a ton of fun. And then one year they did it with coins. And so if you collected enough coins, you could turn the coins in and be eligible at the last show for possible best of show. It's really cool ways to do it. But they were definitely judged. And then the girls would come around and pick their choice too. So that's another way to do a car show. Local and annual charity shows. These are shows that organizations spend all year planning. So as soon as that show ends, they start planning the next year's show. These are shows that an organization, usually a professional type organization, actually makes money to throw. So they are not just doing this for charity. Usually there is some kind of charity involved, but they are actually making money. This is something that they do for a living. And they are paying a staff. There are paid judges. These are usually professional judges that are brought in. There is a lot of money spent on location. There's a lot of money spent on advertising. There's money to be won in awards. Not only do you get a trophy, but there's probably a check involved. All kinds of cool stuff is usually one of those. And there's usually tons and tons of awards and tons of categories. So you'll have a lot to choose from as far as how to put your car in that show. So there could be anything from categories from little kids' bikes to motorcycles to sports cars to rat rods to semi 18-wheeler trucks. So these are the kinds of car shows that you find at fairgrounds. This is the kind of show that you find at the big places where they have concerts and things like that. So indoor type shows. What else? What other kinds of shows are there? Oh, same kind of thing, but at a national and state level. So same level of showing, but these shows have much bigger bragging rights. So you might win at a local level and then get to compete at a state level. So bigger prizes, bigger trophies, bigger cash pots. These are the types of shows where if you actually make it into like the top 5, your car gets thrown up on a lift, and it could come down to how clean is the underside of your car. Crazy stuff like that. So sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like judging stuff like this would be a lot of fun. I'm here to tell you that it is. I love judging. I love doing it. It's a ton of fun. I've been exposed to this since I was young because my parents did it with motorcycles. So I have been toted around since I was old enough to sit up on a motorcycle, and and it just transferred over into cars and semis and all kinds of stuff. So I've been doing this for a really long time, and it is a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work, you guys. I would be lying to you to tell you that it's just, a big, huge party on the weekends. It's not. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of homework, and it's a lot of knowing a lot of different things about a lot of different kinds of vehicles. It's a lot of thank God for Google, because you get thrown into a category that you're like, I don't know anything about this car. And you have to go learn everything about it really fast, because now all of a sudden you're judging a category of cars that you've maybe never even heard of or never judged before. It's sometimes air-conditioned buildings. It's sometimes hours and hours of being on blacktop, and that will drain you super fast. It's crawling around on the ground. It's being underneath people's cars. Some car shows you can touch the cars, and some car shows they do not let you touch the cars. So you have to be able to see everything you need to see without touching the car at all. And in some cases, you don't touch the car until you get to the last couple of cars, and then you have to touch the cars. So then you have to get permission from these people to touch their cars or get them to touch the car for you. Because it does come down to sometimes some crazy things like open your glove box, lift your engine cover, open the cover on your oh my God, what is that thing called, babe? With your fuse box cover. Open your fuse box cover. Just crazy things like that. Lift your floor mats, like things that people do not think of cleaning. So we're going to talk about all those things tonight so that you know all the things that we look for and what it could come down to if you're serious. Hi, Charles. Welcome to, I'm going to see if I can catch up on some of these comments. All right, we have 15 people in, 8 likes. Catch up the likes, y'all. Let's see. Mornings, yuck. We love our Sunday mornings, cars and coffee. True story. I used to love to get up and go to do those too. Now I'm not a morning person. The crazy thing was nobody Nobody wants to get up to go to work, right? Get up at 6 a.m., get ready, go to work, blah, 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 blah. Alarm goes off. You just cannot get out of bed. You're like, I just can't do it. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday comes along and it's time to get up and take the cars up, and you're up at 4 a.m., like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like no problem. I can't get Andy out of bed to save my life. I would be dead on, like, just call the coroner.
Hey now.
I could be choking and dying in bed next to him and he would not wake up. But if I tell him there's a car show tomorrow morning, he will be up at 3 a.m. ready to go. Like 100% faux show. Right, babe?
You got it, babe.
Right. Crazy, right? All right. So let's see. Linda says that in Long Island, there's cruise night every night. We used to have cruises in Wichita. And then they got shut down. They used to drag Douglas, and then they can't drag Douglas anymore. Been to the Good Guys show in North Carolina. We've been doing shows since the early 90s. I'm a rookie. My first car show 2 weeks ago, Jan. Yes, and she did good. She got an award. Clean and shine shows are fun, but there are shows where you need to have all original equipment. There are definitely that. Let's see. Won the North Carolina show last year for a top award. Good job, David. Jan, it gets easier. You have a system of what to clean. There is a system. There's a system, isn't there, babe? I have a system that everything gets jenged into my car. It gets pulled out and sat. And if he even starts to look at my system and start messing with my stuff, what happens, babe? You get bit, don't you?
You go ham.
Oh, I do go ham. Like, don't get into my system. There's a whole set up and tear down and cleaning system that I go through, and like, do not get in my way. Great topic. Oh, look at Charles bought some children's toothbrushes. Gonna get the wax out of those creases.
Yep, that's a good idea.
I used to carry a huge package of those with me because I would end up giving them away because everybody would come up to me and be like, "Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What happened here? How?" And I'm just like, "Go take this toothbrush and just don't bring it back to me. I don't want it back." Okay. So, all right. So as a judge, this is some of the things that are fairly obvious to me and that I'm told over the years are not very obvious. And apparently, because I've had people pull their cars up and they're like, "All right, I'm ready. Here you go." And I just kind of like look at the people that I'm judging with and I'm like, is he serious? He's joking, right? This is like, is one of the people that's like the funny guy. Like he's gonna like go park and like clean his car and then come back. And they're like, "No, I think he's serious." Oh, okay. All right, let's judge. And then that's the same person that'll come back later and be like, "You didn't like my car? Why didn't I get a trophy?" Well, bro, let's start with the French fries on the floorboards. The fact that there's bugs on your, like, did you go to a car wash? Or did you drive here and then just pull up like right now? You just got here. Like, it happens. It happens. Did you not see some of the cars that are sitting in this parking lot right now? Did you see what they're doing? Like, one of these things doesn't look like the other at all. I don't get it. But it happens. So, I think they have an amazing Camaro. They're all amazing, like, right? They're Camaros. Good job. You made a good job picking a Camaro. They did some amazing things to it. They put some paint on it, or they did some graphics, or they just, they did some cool things with it. And then they drove it all the way across country, and that was it. They felt like they did all those things, and it's a cool car, so they want to bring it and show it off, and they don't understand that it has to be cleaned and presentable. Um, okay. They learn. They get their judge sheet at the end and they learn. So so these are the things that we're going to talk about, is those things that they are supposed to learn and they don't. So here's some of the things that, as a judge, that we look at. And can we just say this? And I know that this is going to be, till the end of time, this is going to be a thing. Daily driven versus trailer queen. Yes, I got a thumbs up there. That will be a fight and a battle that we will have to deal with in car shows for as long as we have cars. That and the other battle that we will deal with will be built versus bought. That'll be the other battle that we have to fight. I know all the old school people out there. You think that you have your first gen and you built it, or you rebuilt it, or you did whatever you had to do to get it roadworthy so that you could bring it and show it. I got you. I got you. But a lot of these newer cars are also built. Just because they're brand new doesn't mean that there isn't hundreds of thousands of dollars put into building them differently than how they came off the line. You spend all your time in the first gen world and you don't know anything about the sixth gen world or the fifth gen world or any of the other gens after yours, in most scenarios. So if you don't know about those gens, don't speak up and say, it's a new car, you just drove it off the showroom floor. I love that. I love when people come up to Onyx and say, you won because you brought this brand new car off the showroom floor and parked it next to my first gen. Okay, the Onyx did not come off the showroom floor with butterfly doors, a reverse tilt hood, and 30 some $1,000s worth of paint. That car doesn't come off the showroom floor like that. So no more than your car came off the showroom floor looking the way it does. You can't say that. My car is just as built as yours. So built versus bought, trailer queen versus driven on the daily. So we're going to deal with that all the time. And I try really, really hard when the cars are all judged together to keep those things under consideration. Now, as a daily driven car, I hold you to a responsibility. You do have to take a little bit better care of your daily driver. I do expect to see rock chips. I do expect to see pinholes in your windshield. But I don't expect to see is, oh, well, I drive my car daily and you're missing chunks out of your front end. Okay, if you get a chunk out of your front end, I expect more out of you. I expect you to fix that. This isn't your beater that you can just like have a big dent or chunk out of and be like, okay, it's my daily beater. No, this is a show car that you daily drive. So if a big chunk comes out of your car, get it fixed, right? Like, let's be real. If you're going to compete with that car, I'll expect little tiny rock chips that may have happened on your way from point A to point B. But come on now. Unless you hit a deer on your way from your house to that show, be real. Trailer queens, I don't expect you to expect that you're going to beat a daily driven car because your car has no rock chips and theirs does. No, they're going to get handicaps for that as long as they can prove that it is actually daily driven by the mileage and that they are, handling their business and taking care of the front end of the car the best they can. All right, so here we go. Cleanliness is next to godliness. If you are putting your car in a car show, please clean the car. Hands down. Like, that's just A1. Clean your car. Clean the shell of the car. So that's behind me. Clean the shell of your car. Please wash it. Give your car a bath. Clean your wheel wells. Clean your undercarriage as far as you can reach. And hope that your judge cannot reach further. Because if they can and they come back with some dirt, points. Once everything's all taken care of, you want to make sure that you brush off your tires. Get all of, once it's parked and where you're going to be, brush those tires off and then shine them up. I know everybody just thinks they're tires. They touch the ground. Okay. But the person next to you is going to brush all that stuff off their tires and shine their tires up so that they look like they've never touched the ground. That's the goal. You want to beat that other car? That's what your goal should be. Clean your wheels, not just the front. Clean your wheels. Clean your wheels on the front. Clean your wheels on the back. Clean your wheels in the tub behind. Clean your wheels. Clean your wheels. Like, clean your wheels means clean your wheels. Clean the whole thing. If I reach behind there, I shouldn't come back out with any grease from any surface on your wheels. Front, back, side, inside, whatever. There should be nothing. It shouldn't look like your wheels ever touch the ground.
Charles, that's a question.
Let's see. Charles, since mine is over 50K miles, will it be classified as a trailer queen?
No. Well, I mean,
Mm,
you just said-
I mean, did you trailer it or did you drive it? Be honest. If you drove it there, you're not a trailered car. If you trailered it there, then you're a trailered car. Be honest with yourself and be honest with the other people. Listen, people watch each other. So if you pull up in there and start telling everybody that you have a daily driven car and 32 people saw you offload that thing off a trailer at the beginning of the show, these are people that you have to see all the time. These are people that are going to trash you on Facebook. There's too much social media out there for you to not be honest. My car is not a trailer queen. She has been on a trailer once and I got put in the hospital. She has never been in that trailer again. That trailer got sold. She trailer queened for one trip. That was it. No more trailer for her. We tried to trailer queen. We aren't queens. So just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Are you a daily driver or are you a trailer queen? Just be honest with yourself and everybody else. All right. Engine bays. Clean your engine bay. All of it. I'm talking toothbrush clean. Get in there, clean it, knock all the dirt out, get everything clean. Just clean your engine bay. Make it look pretty like it was when you first got it. And then when you're done cleaning it, dress it. If you've got wires that can be covered up, cover them up. Gather them up all nice and pretty, tape them up, Put them in conduit covers, do whatever you need to do. Make it all nice and pretty. Put the pretty little covers on in place of the other, if you're not going to go stock. Put the pretty little covers on that say Camaro on them, or the little chrome thing. Like, dress your engine up and then spray it and make it pretty and shiny, and use all the different products that it takes to dress your engine up. Make it pretty. You guys all know where your hood latch is. In the front, there's that little triangle hole in the front where the hood latches in. Look down there, because I'm going to. So is every other judge. When you look down there, you can see all kinds of dirt and bugs, and you can see your radiator. Hi, Donald. You can see your radiator grill through there. You can see all kinds of stuff in there. Guess what else we can see in there? Dirt, grime, grease, all kinds of stuff. We're going to stick our fingers in there. We're going to get all up close and personal with your car. We're going to violate the crap out of different places like that in your car. So if we stick our fingers in there and come up with something, minus points. Clean in there. If it can open and get under, open it, get under it, and clean it. So if your engine cover can be taken off, take it off and clean it. If your fuse box can open it and clean it. What's up, Donald? Clean and dress all the rubber that's in there. So clean it, make it all pretty. Wipe it all down with a nice little VRT and whatever your favorite is. Make it all pretty. Linda, you have a ton of cars. Good to have you back on, Donald. We haven't seen or heard from you in a while. And by the way, your like monsoon that you videotaped the other day is now here in Jersey. Thanks for that. All right, so clean and dress your interior. Clean your floor mats, your pedals, all the plastic and rubber and metal that's in your footwells. Clean under your floor mats. Don't slide everything underneath your floor mats and cover it up, because we're going to lift your floor mats. So vacuum, do whatever you got to do. Don't sweep all the buggies and grass underneath there and then put the floor mats down. And if you do daily drive your car, have 2 sets of mats. Have a set of mats for your feet and have a set of mats for car shows. And be very vigilant about it. Don't put your feet on the car show mats, because then you don't have to clean them. All you got to do is just every now and then the plasticky parts of it, just shine those up. But don't forget your wheel wells. There's pedals down there. There's all kinds of stuff down there that everybody forgets and doesn't do anything with. Shine those up. VRT those. Do whatever you got to do down there to make those pretty too. And look up, because there's the underneath side of your dash that needs to be treated as well. Clean and straighten out your seat belts. Make sure that those are all nice and pretty and not just all like willy-nilly all over the place.
Donald's giving out memberships.
Clean your steering wheel. If your steering wheel is all scratched up because your wedding ring is tore it up, or just whatever jewelry you're wearing has gotten it all torn up, or it's just got a lot of wear and tear on it, put a cover on it. Get a cover. Drive with the cover on it. Or if you just really don't like to drive with the cover on it, have a cover for car shows and put the cover over it for the car shows, so you can't see all the wear and tear that you've caused on the steering wheel. You just see the pretty cover that's on it. They have gorgeous leather ones that you can't even tell are not the original steering wheel. I put a leather one. I've had a leather one on Onyx ever since I brought her home so that it wouldn't ruin the original steering wheel. Firm believer in those. Clean all the air vents, cup holders, all the little grooves that are in all the designs and grooves and stuff that are cut in there. Clean all of that. This is where the silly putty and the air cans come in to get all those little crumbs and dust and little bug wings and all that kind of stuff. That's what that stuff's for. Get in there and get all those cleaned out. Vacuum the floors and seats. Make sure you go between the center console and your seats. We don't want your potato chips and your French fries and whatever else might be down in between your seats and your center console, underneath your seats, behind your seats, and between your seats and the back seats. Like, get all that vacuumed out. No leaves, no buggies, no any of that stuff. Get all that. Vacuum out your back window between the glass and the consoles, the dashes. Get all that back. Buggies. There's buggies. Buggies crawl in there and die, and people don't catch those. We catch them. We see them. Those buggies aren't extra points. Those buggies are negative points. So get those buggies out. Clean out your glove box and your center console. It has actually come down to that before. The only thing that I want to see in your glove box or your center console is maybe the manual that the car came with, maybe a fancy little book that you got that says Camaro on it, that keeps your license and registration and insurance card and all that kind of stuff in it. Or maybe a flashlight that matches the theme of the car. So maybe your car is black and red and you have a red flashlight in there, something like that. Some kind of prop type thing that kind of goes with the theme of your car. So those kind of things, but don't overdo it. Keep it really simple and clean. And that would be the difference between your car winning and somebody else's glove box gets opened and all kinds of like tampons and tissues and candy and mints and God knows what else falls out of the box, and the box is dirty, and condoms and whatever is coming out of the glove box. Like, that's like, okay. That's okay. So that's negative points, and that just lost you the car show. So think about those things, especially daily drivers, because you daily drive the car. All that stuff's going to be in there. Take that stuff out. I don't need to see that stuff. I do not need to see that stuff. I really don't. Clean your sunroof. That includes the glass, the track it's running on, and the tray that it lands in. There's a huge tray in the very back of it. Nobody cleans that. That is nasty, guys. If you've never cleaned the track and the tray that your sunroof lands in, climb up there and take a look. 5th gens. If you've never cleaned that, get a 2010. That's 13 years. Go look and see what 13 years has done to that tray. It's nasty. Clean your tailpipes. Clean those tailpipes on the outside of them and the inside of them as far as your little arms can reach, or your little toilet brush can reach. I said toilet brush. They work wonders. Get in there and clean those guys out as best you can, because we're going to reach in there too. And if we can reach in there further than you can and come up with some stuff, minus points. Clean under your gas cap. Yes, clean under your gas cap. Open your gas cap, and not the part like where the fuel goes, but the door. So open your fuel door, Clean all that. Clean up there in the hinges where that thing opens and closes. Clean all around the little rubber part that's in there. Get that all nice and pretty. Guys, you want your car to look like it did when they handed it to you. Well, you want it to look better than it did when they handed it to you because God knows they don't do a good job. You want it to look brand new. You want it to look like it's never been on the road. Get the leaves and the bugs and all that stuff off your radiator grill. That's a little tricky. That is a little bit trickier. That's where the brushes and cans of air come in handy. Get as much of those off. We know you can't get it all, but you can get quite a bit of it. So do the best you can. Clean where the windows meet the dash and the back deck of your car. That is probably one of the biggest places people just don't get to. They just don't. But you're going to get that. All right. So that's a lot of cleaning. I get it. That's a lot of cleaning. But cleaning is really kind of 80% of car shows. So most of the time you spend is going to be cleaning. You should have spent hours cleaning your car before you left for the show. Even if you drove. I don't care if you drive 3 days to get there and it defeats most of your cleaning. You should have spent days cleaning your car before you left. And then when you get there, you're just catching up. And I know you're going to go through storms and you're going to go through dirt and chip and seal and all kinds of stuff. But can you imagine what it would be like if you had to clean that and everything else off? So do yourself a favor and clean most of it off before you leave, and then just do catch-up cleaning when you get there. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you guys know I'm like really bad with the convertible stuff. Yes, convertibles. Clean your convertible tops and clean the storage areas. That's kind of like the sunroof area. Nobody cleans that area. Oh my God. The bugs and the leaves and the dirt and the dust and the stuff that was on your top that gets in there when you drop your top, and then vacuum that out. Guys, like vacuum that out. So yeah, definitely get that all vacuumed out and stuff. Thanks, Charles, for reminding me about the convertibles. And show your convertible top some love. Like give that some treatment, get that cleaned off, give your convertible top some love. All righty. Okay. Make your car stand out from the rest. A lot of people, they're not really sure where to go with this. They don't know what to do do I stay stock? Do I go modified? Do I give my car a theme? This is the corner, guys. This is where you try to make the car your own. So if you have a specialty car, you have a Panther, you have a 50th edition, you have an Neiman Marcus car, you have one of those kinds of cars. I would advise you to tread very carefully. You don't want to do a whole lot to one of those kinds of cars that will take away from what the designer's intentions were for that car, and also to ruin what you've got. Pace cars, things like that. Don't go crazy with those. The Hot Wheels editions, like don't go over the top with those, because you're taking away what that car was built as a specialty to be. So if you go and turn that into your own thing, then okay, so 50 years from now, that's not really what it was built and sent off the line as. So now it's not worth as much as one that still is exactly the way it was when it came off the line. So your pace car that you didn't put all those personal touches to is worth less, because the one next to it is exactly the way it was intended to be when it came off the line. Same with the Panthers. Be very careful with these Panthers, guys. These cars that are numbered cars and special editions. Be very careful with those cars. Don't do things that you cannot reverse. But if you just have a normal car, do something to make it your own. Because if you're parked in a line of Camaros, you want your black Camaro to be different and stand out in the eyes of the judges from that black Camaro that's 2 cars down from yours and just as clean. What are you doing to make the judge think about your car over their car? We all have seen mine. We know what I've done. So you can go over the edge and over the top with it, or you can do just enough. Now, this is where you have to decide, am I building this car to win shows, or am I building this car for me? If you're building the car for you, do whatever you want, go crazy. If you're building the car to win shows, there are some things you have to keep in mind. So, go crazy, go over the top, do your themes, do your custom paints, add your lights, add your props, do your sound systems. Just go nuts, do what you want to do, make it your own, do your own thing. Put your mark on it. But remember this. When we're judging your car for all those cleanliness and lines and professionalism and all that stuff, we're going to be judging all that stuff for that too. So are all your props clean? Is all the wires hidden? Did you drill holes into the car somewhere to accommodate all of this stuff? Was that done cleanly? Can I see all these lights that you put on, or are they hidden properly? Are all these wires tucked and put away good? Or is this just all over the place crazy? So be really careful with these things. It has to look clean and professional. All right, so Gypsy. I have a dash pad cover. Should I remove that before judging? I would, unless the cover is covering something that you don't want them to see. Then I would just make sure that that dash pad cover stays very clean and very fitted, and then leave it on there to cover whatever damage you've got going on. But if it's just up there to keep your dash nice, and your dash is nice, take it off. I'm still searching for nearby hotel for the weekend in July when I come up. Why are you staying in a hotel, Donald? Why are you just not staying with us? We can talk about that later. I've got work to do. We all have work to do, Charles. It never ends. I always say I'm done, and there's always something else.
Should I bring a pack of air tanks?
Buggies are food for the friends with bats. Yes, they are. Buggies are not for your Camaro. Toolbox, first aid kit, fire extinguishers, go in trunk. We will talk about all of those fun things towards the end. Convertible top storage area. Yes, we talked about that. Don't forget door hinges. We will. Oh, yeah. Okay. Door hinges. Clean your door hinges. Definitely clean your door hinges. And especially if you have doors like mine that go up, the Lamborghini doors, you want to make sure that you painted in there, and also keep that clean and taped up and wrapped up and everything, because that's all now out for everybody to see. And the factory did not paint in there. So when you do that conversion, you want to make sure that you paint all of that to match the color of the car. Most people don't do that when they do that conversion. Should I pack my air tank? You don't really need to pack an air tank so much, Charles, as just like the air that you use in your computer to blow out your keypad. just one of those compressed airs, because you're not going to use a whole lot of air, but you will need a little bit here and there. I like to use the compressed air for getting the water out of the mirrors and stuff like that. But we have a shop blower now, the little tiny small shop blower. It's like a leaf blower, but a small version of it. They're used in shops. We use them to blow the air, all the water off the cars, get it out of the mirrors, off the little fin on the top, and all the hard to get places.
Especially inside the side markers. It's crazy.
Side markers, my dovetail always holds water, like those kinds of places. We really like that. So Andy got one from Santa. Let's see, my car has the names of my children. If judges dislikes my kids' names, so be it. No, that's going to be we're going to talk about towards the end, we're going to talk about like a baby book for your car and show boards. And Charles, that would be something that would be very important for you to mention on a show board or inside of a book like that, because you would want, or if you, and judges don't mind you being around them, um, as long as you don't chat them into the ground. That would be something that I would mention to a judge when they were walking around the car, is why those names are on the car. Judges like that kind of stuff. Those are cool things to hear when they're walking around the car. All right, Gypsy says, with older cars, what do judges expect to see? My car is very clean for its age, but it's a 96, so it's not perfect. Um, clean is 100%. That's 80% of it. The car needs to be clean. And if the car is a daily driver, you want them to know that. Guys, if your car is a daily driver, that is something that you want to make sure your judge knows. Make something that is up front and in their face, something that goes in the trunk,
Yeah, used car show.
something that is like, you put that. Guys, we just had Drake on here last night. Make sure that that is prominent on your show board when Drake makes it for you, that this is a daily driven car, so that when the judge is walking around it, like that is on my, and they don't always look at the window markers. Um, but I always put on my window marker that my car is a daily driven car. And I always put on my window marker plaque that they give you to hang in the window so they know the car numbers. I always put on there that it's built and operated, owned and operated by a female. Believe it or not, with all the pink on my car, people still ask, is this your car? Or, is it your husband's or your dad's? What why? Why? I'm wearing black and pink. The car is black and pink. Yes, it's my car. But sometimes it's not always super in their face that it is a daily driven car, because it does look really good. So um, put that on your car, Gypsy. Somehow or another, make sure that when people come to judge the car, that they know it's daily driven, so that they know that for the car's age, they're going to come across some things, that there's going to be some wear and tear. The seats not might be perfect. If the car's original and daily driven, nothing has been taken out. The seats are original, the floor, the carpet's original, the headliner's original. Let them know those things. um, let's see. We talk about all the different things that I wanted to talk about. Oh, biased judges. I think we talked a little bit about putting your own spin on it. My car, you guys have all seen my car, right? My car has the Grim Reaper on it in a couple of places. It definitely has got bats all over the place when it's set up. There's a whole crate full of little stuffed bats that go up that she's been collecting since before I even had her. So we hands down win every show we show up for in October. So any Halloween show we show up for, we automatically know we're gonna win. So she is clearly set up for Halloween. Even if we don't do anything but just pull up and park. She is clearly gonna win a Halloween show. So that's not the theme. I mean, that's trick or treat was not what we had in mind. Um, she's set up that way because that's near and dear to my heart. Those little furry rats with wings are just they're my favorite little animal. I've loved them since I was little, and it's just never left me as an adult. So they just have stuck with me. It just turns out they happen to be a very Halloween type situation. The Grim Reaper is something that is near and dear to me as well, and he's kind of um, poor guy. He's just kind of he gets a bad rap. So everybody thinks he's evil, and he's really not. He's just kind of like the messenger, and everybody's just kind of beating him up for whatever he does. And I feel bad for him, but I love him. I love what he does. Um, he's an angel. He's just a dark angel. So I have to deal with the fact that if my judge is not keeping his bias to himself or herself, and my judge comes out and is more of an angels and sunflowers and butterflies type of person, we're gonna get a bad rap just right off the bat. So because they're gonna see my car as being evil and dark instead of the good that actually is behind the story in my car. So I don't care because I didn't build the car for everybody else. I built the car for me. I didn't build the car to win shows. That car was built for other reasons. That car was built for me. So that car did what it was supposed to do, and it saved my life and got me through some dark times. So she did what she was supposed to do. She won some car shows along the way, and that was just an extra bonus. But when I said build your car to either win shows or build your car to win your heart, I meant that. Make that decision before you start to build. Because no matter how clean you get the car and how well it's put together, if you have a judge that does not see your vision the same way you do, it doesn't matter. So never, please, 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 never walk away and get discouraged if your car doesn't do as well as you think it should have done in a show, and maybe something else wins that shouldn't have in your eyes. It doesn't mean that your car didn't do a good job and you should throw the towel in. It just means that the judges didn't see things in the world the same way you did. And that's okay. That is okay. Another show, the judges may see things differently. It's a judgment, not a perfection. So keep doing it. And as long as you make other people happy and you get to talk about it and you're happy, then that's all that matters. the trophy is just something that's going to collect dust later. So keep that in mind, please. All right. Make sure your props make sense with your theme. Don't overdo it. Don't get cluttery. And this one's important. Nobody cares about the shows that you've won prior. Keep your trophies in a trophy case at home. Don't bring them with you. Okay? It's tacky. Stay humble. Now, there are shows where there are a lot of things going on throughout the show and you're there for a long period of time. And if you've won an award in the beginning of that show and you're still showing during the show, that is okay. You got to drag all that stuff along with you. So go ahead and kind of humbly, discreetly show those awards. Don't prominently display them, but go ahead and show those awards because they were won at that show while you were there during the course of your time at whatever event that you were at. Maybe you won a drag race. Maybe you won best paint, and that was given out earlier in the show. Maybe there was a celebrity guest that gave something out, like Scott Settlemeyer handed out an award, and you got that at the beginning of the show, but the actual car show hasn't been judged yet. Those kinds of things, go ahead and display those, but don't prominently display them, just kind of off to the side. If the car has done amazingly well through a bunch of different shows and you just really feel like that's something you need to showcase, this is where that baby book thing comes in handy. Make a book. Maybe your car was a survivor. Maybe you brought the car back from the dead. Could have been a bar find that was somewhere, and that could be any gen. You could have saved a first gen, you could have saved a fifth gen. If you have some crazy story behind the car, document that in photos. And if along the way the car has won a ton of shows and you have photographs, one from each show, put those in there. People will get the gist. You don't have to spell it out. They'll see that throughout the car's history, it had a rough start. You gave it some love. You saved its life. It knows it. It won all these shows along the way. And now here you are today. Document that in a photo book and call it its baby book. Okay. Don't put all of that kind of stuff out in people's faces. A lot of people think that if they fill their trunk up with every award that the car's ever won and then bring it to a car show, judges are going to come by and be like, oh, this is an award-winning car. We should give it an award. No, we don't. We actually think it's tacky. And a lot of times we'll just bypass and you're not going to get a good score at all. It's actually aggravating. And in some cases, some judges that don't do their job properly will just look at the car and go, well, you have enough awards. You don't need another one. Let's give somebody else a chance. Like, there are a lot of different ways judges can look at that. It shouldn't be looked at it any kind of way. We should just judge the car around the trophies. And if it wins, it wins. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that really does alter the way you look at things. So leave those things at home. You don't need to bring them with you. If the car has done a lot of fun things, put that in the baby book as well. Like if it's done funerals and weddings and parades and like Kevin's car that does all the fun things for the military, like put those things in its baby book. Like those are great things. Like it's touched people's lives. Put those things in there. Those are great things. Definitely put those things out there. Movies, if it's been in movies or commercials or ads or something, toot those horns. Those are horns worth tooting. All right. So, here are some ways that judging can be done when it's not done like by paper. And judging. When we are actually walking around with a sheet and judging your car, it's done in a couple of ways. We either start with a set amount of points, like say we start with 100 points and we start deducting points on things. Like for instance, I actually have this is Camaro Fest. This is actually the judging sheet that's coming up for Camaro Fest. So Camaro Fest starts off with 100 points, and then we look at everything and we start deducting points. A lot of other shows go in the reverse. They start you with 0 points, and each thing has a max amount of points, and you can gain points, and then you get to the bottom. Then when you get to the bottom, there's extra points, and this is where Jan had made mention of what we had been talking about earlier this week. You actually can get extra points in a lot of shows for a few extra items. If you put a toolbox, a first aid kit, and a fire extinguisher in your car, the trunk is probably the best way to do it. Those are extra points. Most judges will give you extra points for those safety things. And an actually there's a couple of shows that will give you another extra point for a dash plaque from a previous show, and even more points if it's from like really far away. So if you're in New Jersey and that dash plaque is from California, they'll like load you up on points for it. If you're in New Jersey and the dash plaque is just from a car show in New Jersey in another city, you'll get extra points, but not as many. So they like to see that the car has traveled around and done like some pretty crazy shows. Um, so other ways that I've seen car shows judged. We talked a little bit about this when we were talking about the different kinds of car shows. Fundraisers. Um, at the end of the day, most people are doing these car shows to raise funds. That's the main reason for most of the shows. So this is the craziest one I've seen. Locked boxes, or they were like really big bottles that locked, and they sat them in front of each one of the cars. And all of the people that came into what there was hundreds of thousands of people. It was at a fairgrounds. Everybody that came in to look at the cars and all of the other people that were showing their cars walked around and put money in slots in the tops of these big long cylinders. And at the end of the car show, they came around and collected all the cylinders, and the cylinders were marked with the car numbers on them. And then, of course, when you registered your car and got a car number that matched the cylinder. And at the end of the night, the cylinders were all collected and the money was counted. And whichever cars had the most money in the cylinder, that's the cars that won the show. It's the craziest thing. So obviously, you could pretty much buy your trophy um, by putting a ton of money in your cylinder and having all your friends and family come and put money in your cylinder. But you were all also subjected to all the people walking around and little kids putting their coins and dollars and stuff in it. And they made thousands of dollars at this fairground, collecting money for the cars. So instead of doing 50-50 and walking around getting everybody to buy raffle tickets, they just had everybody put their money in these cylinders for the cars. It was really, really cool. I've seen that a couple of times. People's Choice is where spectators and fellow car owners walk around. And um, yeah, Jan, it's buying votes. It really is. It's 100% buying votes, but it's in your face, transparently doing it. There were a lot of car shows where people are buying votes in one way or another, but doing it sneaky and behind everybody's backs. This was in your face, not even trying to hide it. So it was kind of refreshing to see. So, so People's Choice is where spectators and also fellow car showers walk around with a piece of paper and they pick the ones they like, write the numbers down. This is also basically buying votes. It's a popularity vote. And then they take their thing up and put it in the little box, and the votes are counted up. Sponsors' choices are where the location sponsor picks the winner. So if you go to a restaurant, say you go to a mom and pop type restaurant and they sponsored the location, the owner of the restaurant may come out and pick the cars that they want, or the waitresses come out and pick the cars that they like. So there's that kind of way. Um, Special guests where you might have the police chief come out if the police department was having a show, or they might have like the family of whoever they were raising money for comes out and picks the vehicles, or they might have like a local celebrity or those kinds of people. The governor, I've seen the governor come out and pick cars, like stuff like that. So special guests will come out and they'll pick the cars. I've been to a zoo show where the animals pick the cars. It was the keepers for the different animals sections, but and the awards were um, paintings and things like that that the animals actually did. So that was kind of cool. um, what are other ways that people have done judging? There's so many different kinds of ways that they can do judging to where it's not actually done by a panel of judges. Um, so just know that it's not always going to be 100% professionally judged when you go to a car show. So again, what one group of people like, another group of people may not. So your car may not be, the cup of joe for that show, but 2 weeks later it might be. So you just never know. And it could be the same cars. Typically, when you're showing locally, it's the same cars over and over and over and over, and you'll never really see the same cars get chose because the judges are different. Plain and simple. That's why the same car won't win this all, won't win twice with the same group of cars because the judging is different. Um, So let's see some side notes. I had some side notes that I took as well. When you set your car up to show, it's super important that you give, because the judges aren't really allowed to touch the car. So they can't pop your hood, open your doors, open your trunk, that kind of stuff. It's super important when you set your car up, to win. You set your car up, you know, give it a chance. So make sure at least one of your doors is open, your windows are down, your hood and your trunk are open. And a lot of people don't think of this, but turn your wheels, turn your steering wheel so that your wheels are turned, if the parking allows. Sometimes parking, they'll park you and you'll set your wheels up like that and they'll tell you to straighten your wheels out. If they do tell you to straighten your wheels out, then you can't do it. But if you are given the opportunity to do so, turn your wheels so they can see into the wheel well and get a good view of your wheels and your rims. And the car just looks better when you set it up like that. So turn your wheels, set the car up, make it pretty, and it gets better pictures when you set them up like that. Your car will show up in a lot more pictures and probably in newspapers and stuff like that because of the way that you've set it up. So, classes. This is tricky, and this is something that everybody always has a problem with, and I always get asked questions about this. Tonya, where do I put my car? What class do I put my car in? Um, what do I have the best chance in winning? It's hard to say. So when you go to these car shows, let's see, like there was a couple of them in here that had, all right, so like this one, for instance, this one has this is a Corvette show. This is thrown by the Corvette Club. So they got a bunch of Corvette classes. Then they have non-Corvette classes. And so they have um, muscle cars, 72 and earlier, custom, street rods, pre 1950, 1950 to 59, 1960 to 64. So they go through blocks of time, special interests, and then do not judge. So this is most likely going to be one of those shows where newer cars are going to be all like clumped together. 2021 to 2025. Oh, they actually spread them out pretty well, 13 to 20. They're about 5, 6 years. So this one's not a very good example. I don't have any of them here that have a good example. All right, so a good example would be you go to put your car in a show and you have no Camaro gen grouping. So you roll in with your 5th gen Camaro, and the only classes that are there for your 5th gen Camaro specifically is Camaro. So you're hoping that the 1st gens will have their own, the 2nd gens will have their own, so on and so forth. And so you would only be competing against 5th gen Camaros. But you get there and you find out that 1st through 6th is all being judged as one class. So 50 some years of Camaros are being judged as one. That's rough. So you have a choice to make now. You either put your car in the Camaro class, or you have the choice of usually modified cars, stock cars, special interest cars. There's usually a category for something like that. You can put your car in street cars, muscle cars. There'll be all kinds of other little groups that your car might fit in. Okay, so then the next question everybody asks me is, okay, but is my car modified? Is my car stock? I've done a couple of things to it, so it's not really stock. What's considered modified? Or Tonya, there's a highly modified on, like, where am I? Okay, so start with that. Read their specifications or ask, if it's not on there, what they consider highly modified. Stock is obviously what comes off the factory line. So if you've not done anything to your car, your stock. If you have added some fun stuff, you've put headers, or you've done some fancy paint, or you've added Lambo doors or some lights or some stereo equipment, you've done something to make the car not the way it was on its sticker. If its window sticker does not match it anymore, you are not stock. Now, if you put car seat covers or new floor mats or something like that, you're still stock. You're okay. But if you have altered it by doing any of those other kinds of things, lights, modifications to the engine, you put a new exhaust on it, you've done any kinds of crazy things like that, you are now in the modified. Most judging will tell you that if you've done 1 to 4 or 5 or 6, they'll put you in modified. If you've done 6 plus or 10 plus, there'll be a number of how many. They'll put you in highly modified. So find out where they draw that line and then decide, do I really want to be in one of those categories, or do I want to just jump over that and say, no, I don't want to be involved in any of that mess. Um, how many cars are sitting out there that look like they might be highly modified or even slightly modified, or how many of them are stock? Figure that out. And decide how many Camaros are showing up. If you're one of 2 Camaros, all 50 gens or all 50 years, then maybe Camaro's where you want to be. Maybe there's like a ton of Mustangs showing up today and none of the Camaros are there. They all went to a different show. So know who is showing with you at that show that day. Kind of know what's out on the field and make an educated decision, and then put your car in. If you didn't pre-register for the show and you're showing up and registering there, then you have time to register. So get yourself settled, walk the show floor, see what's out there, see how many cars are, you don't have to go reading everybody's plaques. You can just look down the aisles and say, oh God, there's 150 Camaros here. Don't want to be in that category. How many cars are modified? How many cars look slightly modified? How many of them look like they might be muscle cars? Decide what you think is going to best suit you and put your car in that category. And then go from there. Also decide where you need to park and how that's going to work out too. Because if it's spectator judging, then you don't want to be in a weird category and parked with all the Camaros, because you'll never get judged. Everybody will have already picked everything they need to pick, and they'll just see you as a Camaro, and they won't even, they'll be like, oh God, that was a modified car. I could have voted for that, but I already voted for the modified because they were way over there. So just kind of keep all that stuff in mind when you're going to shows like that. If you're fighting to win something, you want to be parked where people are looking for that car. So be mindful when you're setting your car up for those category choices. And not every show is going to be cut and dry. Not every show is going to be, okay, your car is getting put with the 5th gen Camaros and that's it. You don't get a choice. Sometimes you do get a choice. So make your choice wisely, and that could make a difference for you. If you have a special interest car like Kevin has, put yourself in special interest. It might work for you. So that's a lot of information, guys. I know I gave you guys a lot to look at, a lot to listen to. Does anybody have any questions that I might be able to help with? It was an hour and a half of, oh my God, you guys have so much to do for these shows that you're now going to go out to. And everything I do gets documented. So if anybody wants copies of any of the stuff that I put on these shows, you can just send me a message and I can scan it in and send it to you. And you can go back and have it for your records. Because I know sometimes it's a lot of information. Obviously, I will not send you any of the judging sheets for any of the shows when I show you those kind of things, but I can show you notes. No, you know what, Jan? You really don't, because it would have been overwhelming. It's better for you to experience your first show and then hear all that information so that you kind of have something to benchmark it from, because now it makes sense and you'll be able to like actually apply it. Knowing all this before you go in firsthand is like nerve-wracking. No, Charles, you want to keep that toothbrush as clean as you can possibly keep it. If you get to some sections, Charles, in the cracks when you're going in there, so it's wax that you're trying to get out of there, right? That it's white stuff in the crevices is wax. If it's just wax that you're trying to get out of there, the toothbrush is just going to go in there and agitate the wax loose. If you get through that whole process and you go back and there's some areas where it's just not agitating out, you can use detail spray and the toothbrush and go in there and spray some detail spray and then go in there with the toothbrush to reactivate the wax. And then so use the toothbrush and a cloth and try to get it out again. Yeah. So you want to just push the dry wax out. Don't get it wet. But you may have to reactivate in some spots. You may have to reactivate the wax. But most of it, you're going to find that toothbrush will just chip it right out, right through. It's actually kind of fun to do. I like watching all that wax come out of the cracks. The sensors on the Camaros on the back, the little round rings, it'll get it out of those too if you guys have those on your cars. Some of the earlier 5th gens don't have those. And it'll get it out of where the rubber seals are too. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, 100 degrees is rough. I'll tell you what though, this is the time of year that I love to get out there and clean the car, and I'm a little less friendly when it's 100 degrees out and you come to talk to me. So just remind me that I'm not that person, because the black top and the weather and the like drive to get something done sometimes does kind of like push me out of my friendly zone. So just remind me to like come back to earth. Um, and I will stop and talk. But you do lose like mad weight. I lose so much weight detailing my car out in this heat. Andy has to come and like force me to drink and stay hydrated, or else I'm like super like just like "Durr." What was that show we did last year, babe? Neither one of us. We were like racing the clock. Oh my god, it was
That was Morgan's show.
crazy. It was a Morgan show.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so hot. We were racing the clock and it was ridiculous, and neither one of us had drank anything, nor had we gone to the bathroom. And it was hours, and finally we were like, "Wait a minute, baby. Have we gone to the bathroom?" We were so dehydrated. We were like, "We haven't peed in hours," and I usually pee like every 20 minutes. I'm like, "Baby, I haven't peed in hours." Like, hours. Like, so not me. And we were just like, I think I drank like what? I think I drank like 3 or 4 bottles of water. I can't drink a bottle of water in one sitting to save my life. And I drank like 3 or 4 bottles of water in one set. And he was like, "Whoa, baby, you were like super dry." It was nuts. We were so dehydrated. So dehydrated. We weren't sweating anymore. It was crazy. Like we were borderline ready to go to the hospital. That's like it was bad. We have to remind each other now to like Apple Watch has to tell us like, "Okay, go get something to drink." So, please be careful. Moral to that stupid story. Don't get like horse blinders and forget that you are human. You got to like stay focused on other things too. What is engine bay dressing? So, engine bay engine bay dressing, basically the difference between dressing and cleaning. Cleaning, we all know what cleaning is. Cleaning is just getting the absence of dirt, and then dressing is making it pretty. So it's like makeup for your engine bay. Um, so your VRT, detail spray, back to black, all of the stuff that makes everything in your engine bay shiny. So all the plastics get shiny and protected and moisturized. So just make everything in your engine bay shiny and pretty, and covered, like cover your wires and do all that kind of stuff. Just make everything in there presentable and pretty. That's engine bay dressing. Yeah, no, you got to be careful, Jan. Definitely be careful. No heat stroke. We actually we actually had that happen at Camaro Fest, I think in 2012. We had somebody have a heat stroke from the I can't remember if it was Oklahoma. I was in Kansas. And I can't remember if he was from the Oklahoma group or the Texas group. I remember his car was red. And when we got him home, it turned out he actually had a stroke. Like stroke. His wife's name was Debbie, and we lost him later that year. Amazing couple. She still has his car. Any other questions, guys? And if any other questions come up, ladies, please do not hesitate to send me any email to the Camaro Cave at gmail.com. Flat feet pushing a race car. Don't do that. Um, any questions? Any questions? Just send them to us at the Camaro Cave at gmail.com. I will answer any questions that you send me, or put them in the comments on our YouTube comments. Sadly, I'm really bad with Facebook, so don't Facebook me. If you Facebook Andy, he'll get it to me, but I know I have the Facebook page up, but I just don't get on Facebook very much. Sure, Gypsy, any questions when you start detailing, just send me any questions you've got, and I will answer them best I can. And if you guys see me at any of the car shows when we start getting to some of these bigger car shows, Camaro Fest or any of those things, pull me aside. I'm not showing. I think we're showing Big Gira at a couple of shows, but for the most part, I'm not showing at the shows when we go out this year. We're focusing mostly on the cave, you guys, a couple of things with Baggy, um, but feel free to pull me aside and drag me over to your car, and I'll have our little kit with us. Even if I don't have Onyx, usually I bring her kit in the back of whatever car we have, and I can help you guys with whatever you've got, or at least lean you in the right direction. Judges interview questions they may ask. Judges don't typically interact with you. I have very, very rarely asked anybody a question, and I have very, very rarely ever been asked questions by judges. I have been asked to open, things for people because they can't touch the car. I have been asked if I built the car, or if I had the car built for me. I've been asked how old the car was, which is crazy because it's on the dash plaque thing that we put in our dashes. They can go read the year. They don't get into very much conversation when they're judging the cars. You're not going to interact with your judge very much. And in a lot of cases, they don't want you around. So try to not be up their butts when they're judging. Make yourself available. I always tell my judge if I'm there, because a lot of the times we're walking around and we don't even know that the car's being judged. But um, a lot of okay, and that was something we didn't go over. There's two different ways that the cars can be judged. You can either they'll either have it set up to where you get everything done and you drive the car to a tent or to where the judges are. And then in other cases, everybody is just all set up and the judges walk around with clipboards, and half the time you don't even know that you've been judged. Either case, if you are present when your car is being judged, I think the best way to handle it so that you're not intrusive, if you are there when your car is being judged, is to just basically say, "Hey, I'm here. I am the owner. Um, I'm the operator. I built the car, whatever. If you have any questions, I'm going to be right over here. So if you need me to move anything, open something, if you have any questions you want me to talk about, please let me know. I'm going to be right over here. I don't want to get in your way. But I'm just going to be right over here. So let me know if you need me." Um, and then just be there for them. If they have any questions, they'll ask. And then that way, if they are talkers, they'll talk. And if they're not talkers, you're not talking their ears off while they're trying to judge. Because if you're just nonstop chewing their ears, they might make mistakes and it may not be in your favor. Or they may just be like, God, this person won't shut up. And they might just give you a bad score just to get out of there. So just let them do what they're doing and stay out of their way. Um, Very rarely do they ever their interest is not in you. Their interest is in the car. Sometimes they will interview you, but most times it's not about you. It's about the car. Um, yeah, Linda, I'm the same way. Andy's still pretty competitive and still wants to have his cars judged, but I'm just kind of like I I enjoy judging it. I enjoy hanging out and seeing everybody. I still love cleaning my car. Like, don't get me wrong, I will still spend hours and hours and hours touching the car and cleaning it. But I'm just not about the being judged anymore. It's just not about that for me. I just want to go and talk to everybody and have a good time, and I want to talk to people about my car. I want to talk to people about their cars. It's just dude, I just can't anymore. It's crazy. No, you don't need white gloves or flashlights, Charles. Although I have been to some shows where they do use white gloves and flashlights when they judge.
Morgan show.
Morgan's show uses white gloves and flashlights. I don't. I don't use white gloves or I do use a flashlight in some shows. But I'm not about white gloves. If my hand comes away dirty, it comes away dirty. I'm not like trying to get that deep into it unless we get down to best of show and it's best of show. Somebody asked about that. In most cases, best of show is typically the best car from every single category pulled together and then put against each other. So the best Mustang, the best Camaro, the best Corvette, the best truck, the best everything that came at the very top of every single category gets pulled together, and then the everybody looks at the scores and figures out which one of the best of all of those put it together the best. Which one was the cleanest? Which one executed what that looked like they were trying to go after the cleanest, um, and did it well? What was each car's theme? Did they execute it well? Was it done nicely, professionally, cleanly? Was the lines straight? Was there orange peel in the paint? But like it just everything gets looked at. What kind of thought process went into it? What was the story behind it? It could come down to something like that. Like this person built this car because it was their mom's and they built it before she passed away and it was her last ride. And like, I mean, it could be anything. Like it could come down to just the story that was behind the car. It could be that easy. Because the cars are all that high quality. It could come down to something that easy. I know that it came down to at Camaro Fest last year. It came down to sunroofs. I mean, their glove boxes were clean. Their center consoles were clean. It came down to sunroofs, at the tracks on the sunroofs. So it's crazy. Anything else? We are going on 2 hours, y'all. This is the longest girl cave ever.
It really is.
A lot of good information, great questions, but useful information. I hope that you guys will definitely be able to use this stuff going forward. I can't wait to hear how everybody does in their car shows over the next couple of months. Anything else? If not, then we will bring Girl Cave to a close. No more questions?
Over sponsoring shirts.
All right, before we check out, I just want to remind you guys that we still have shirts available. And remember our sponsors, especially Drake from Car Show Life. Guys, he can definitely help you out with your car shows. 15% off for him. And we also have, who else do we have, babe? Carbon add-ons. And Dead Brand Designs can make you the little plates to put in your engine bay or wherever you want to put it. That was 1, 2, 3. Is that everybody? Yep, that's everybody. All places that you can use all of those things to help you with your car shows. And they're all in our Where are they, baby? Down in the. Where's their information at?
In the description of every video.
They're down in the description of every video. See, I don't do the technical stuff. I just do the informative stuff. Andy does the technical stuff. So discounts for everybody down in there. And Drake at Camaro Life has 15% off of your, or Car Show Life, for your Car Show boards. He has some great stuff that he showed us last night. So get on those so that he can get those. And then all the other stuff is
We have 2 hats left.
oh, we have 2 hats. We have a green hat and a pink hat left. And then the t-shirts, 1 white t-shirt and the rest of them are gray, all cotton. So if anybody would like any of those, please send us a message and let us know. And we will get those out to you.
You wearing the clothing.
And pictures. Send us pictures while you're out at your car shows with our gear that you already have. And because we want to put that video together with everybody wearing their gear with their Camaros. So let's see, is this working tonight? Yay, it is working tonight. So much love for everybody. I hope the information was informative, and we will catch you next week on Normal Cave, and 2 weeks for some more Girl Cave. So over the next 2 weeks, let me know what you guys want to talk about for Girl Cave in 2 weeks. Peace out. Be safe, guys. Keep the faith and wear your seatbelts.